Next speaker on my list is His Excellency Mr. Torbjørn Røe Isaksen, Minister of Education and Research of Norway. You have the floor, Excellency.
Thank you. President of the General Conference, Director General, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Considerable progress has been made in the world in the last few decades, and never before have so many people enjoyed such high standards of living or benefited from so much cooperation. At the same time, these past few years have taught us that we cannot simply assume that progress will continue, and this only serves to underline the need for a well-functioning UN. There are dark clouds in the horizon. Not since World War II have so many people been forced to flee from their countries and flee from their homes. We've all been witness to the horrible destructions of cultural treasures belonging to us all. Norway commends UNESCO's work in putting this high on the international agenda, including in the Security Council. And Norway also strongly supports the campaign Unite for Heritage. We need the UN like never before. To succeed, the UN needs to adapt to a world that is facing new challenges. And UNESCO, like other members of the US family, has to undergo a continuous process of reform if it's to retain its relevance in a rapidly changing world. Member states should give strategic direction to these reforms and hold the Secretariat accountable for conducting its work in a transparent and efficient manner. At the same time, we wish to avoid time-consuming micromanagement and to ensure that the UNESCO Secretariat gets sufficient space and financial resources to carry out its duties and achieve expected results. Ladies and gentlemen, Norway puts education first. We're in the process of doubling Norway's development assistance for education. And in particular, we want to strengthen girls' education, the quality of learning, vocational and technical training, and education in emergencies and protracted crisis. The provision of education is, of course, a national responsibility. Mobilization of domestic resources is a key. However, ODA remains a necessary addition, particularly in the least developed and most fragile countries. The Oslo Summit on Education for Development resulted in a high-level commission on the financing of global education and opportunities. This commission has also been welcomed by the UN Secretary General, who has also stated that he will act on its recommendations. It's an urgent challenge to reach the growing number of children and adolescents who are out of school in countries affected by emergencies and protracted crisis. Additional resources must be mobilized for this purpose, both as a part of a humanitarian response and in terms of a longer-term investment in resilient educational systems. Furthermore, we need to do what we can to protect education from attacks. In the end of May, Norway hosted a Safe Schools conference. The main objective was for countries to sign the Safe Schools Declaration, including the guidelines for protecting schools and universities from military arms in conflicts. And as we speak, 51 states have endorsed the declaration, and we're hoping for many more. Ladies and gentlemen, let me mention another, but not entirely different challenge related to education. We live in an era where people are on the move, either forced or voluntarily, and I'm confident that it will benefit individuals, students, academics, and not least countries if we develop a global instrument for just, fair, and transparent recognition of their qualifications, making use of their resources and competences. The development of a global convention for recognition of higher education qualifications responds to this need, and Norway strongly supports this initiative. The 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda is ambitious, comprehensive, and universal, and it will be our navigational star for the next 15 years, including here at UNESCO. As a coastal state, investing heavily in research on how the oceans influence our climate and environment, we're pleased as well for the role given to the intergovernmental oceanographic commissions in the 2030 Agenda and within UNESCO. It's a recognition of the global trust in IOC and the confidence in its ability to deliver. UNESCO also has a vital role in promoting access to information and press freedom. We will continue to prioritize the work on the safety journalists and the issue of impunity. World leaders adopted the Sustainable Development Goals in September this year, and it includes a commitment to public access to information. The target SDG 1610 states plainly that all countries pledge to ensure public access to information and protect fundamental freedoms in accordance with national legislation and international agreements. This new commitment has potentially transformative implications for the free flow of information and independent media development worldwide. Thank you.